I am 88 years old. I just told my own granddaughter I wouldn't babysit for her on my birthday. You probably think that's cruel. Let me explain. It started with a check. Last autumn, my son David asked me to pay for his new driveway. Not a loan, a gift. I wrote it even though my pension felt the strain. He never really thanked me. He'd just park his car on that smooth gray concrete and rush inside. That driveway felt so cold under my feet. Then there was my neighbor, Marjorie. She's 72. She convinced me to sit for a portrait. It took 6 weeks of Tuesdays. She finished it and showed me at her little art show. The painting was all wild, angry strokes. She said, "I've captured your essence." I just saw a stranger. I realized that's all she ever saw. But the real wake-up call was the flu. I got it bad in January. I was too weak to make tea. I called David. He said he was swamped but would send groceries. They never came. I texted Marjorie. Could she bring soup? She sent back a photo of herself at a pottery class. "So sorry, darling. So busy creating." I stared at those words. I felt completely alone. Who brought the soup? Leo. He's 17, from 2 doors down. He saw my newspaper wasn't collected. He knocked, saw I was sick, and just went to the store. He came back the next day to check on me. We talked. He told me his parents want him to study finance, but he wants to be a carpenter. I told him I understood living a life for other people. His kindness was so simple, it was like clean water. After that, I got a notebook. On one page, I wrote all the names of people I'd always said yes to. On the other page, I tried to write what their yes to me would look like. A visit, a phone call, remembering I hate lilies. The second page stayed blank. It was just empty lines. That empty page hurt more than anything, so I made a decision. David called. He wanted me to host a dinner for his business partners. He said it needed to be quaint and homey. I took a deep breath. My heart was pounding. I said, "No, David, that won't be possible." The silence was so long. He started sputtering about family duty. I just said, "I'm not available." I hung up. My hand was shaking, but I felt different, lighter. Marjorie came over next. She needed me to feed her cat. I said no. She got huffy. She said, "But we're friends." So I asked her, "What book am I reading right now?" She just stared. She had no idea. Then David came by, angry. He said the new driveway needed sealing, and he'd expected my help to pay for it. That's when I saw it clearly. All my yes answers had made me a piece of furniture in their lives, something useful, not a person. Now I say yes to myself. Yes to reading all day. Yes to tea with Leo. I bought a silly, expensive bird feeder. The people who didn't care, their voices just faded away. The quiet they left behind, it's not empty, it's peaceful. So today is my birthday. My phone rang. It was my granddaughter, Chloe. She's sweet, but she's always in a hurry. She asked last minute if I could watch the kids. She said, "You're always so flexible." I felt that old pull, that hook. I looked at my book. I thought about my quiet evening. I said, "Not tonight, Chloe. I have plans." She was shocked. She pushed a little. I held firm. I said, "I love you, but my time is my own now." Here I am. The house is quiet. The cake is from the grocery store. And for the first time in 88 years, I am completely, peacefully my own. And you know what? That quiet felt good. It felt like my own, but it didn't last long. See, when you stop saying yes, people notice. They don't like it. David called again a week later. His voice was tight. "Mom, we need to talk about the driveway." I felt my stomach clench. I asked, "What about it?" He said the contractor was recommending a sealant, that it was an extra cost. He said, "I just assumed you'd want to help maintain the investment." There it was, the word assumed. He had assumed my yes was a forever thing. I told him I couldn't help with the sealant. He got very quiet. Then he said, "Who are you right now? This isn't like you." And I thought, you're right. It isn't like the me you built. Then Marjorie came by. She didn't even knock, just let herself in with the spare key I'd given her years ago. She was holding a casserole dish. "I made you a peace offering," she sang, but her smile was thin. She put the dish down and didn't leave. She started talking about her upcoming retreat again, how she'd found a cheaper one, but she still needed a cat sitter. She looked at me, waiting. I told her I couldn't do it. Her smile vanished. "Why not?" she demanded. I said I just didn't want to. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. "But you always do it," she said. And that was her whole reason, because I always did. That's when Leo knocked. He saw Marjorie's car and almost didn't come in. He held up a wooden birdhouse. "I made this in shop class," he said, shy. "Thought you might like it for your feeder." Marjorie looked from him to me. She made a little sound. "How sweet," she said, but it sounded mean. After Leo left, she turned to me. "You're replacing us with a teenager?" she asked. I didn't answer. She picked up her casserole dish. "Fine, enjoy your quiet." She left, and I knew I wouldn't see her for a long time. That night I felt lonely. I won't lie. It was a sharp physical ache. I almost called David to apologize. I almost texted Marjorie to say I'd feed the cat. The habit of yes was so deep, like a worn path in my brain. But I didn't. I made tea and sat with the loneliness. And a funny thing happened. After a while, the loneliness softened. It turned into just being alone. And being alone, I realized, isn't the same as being lonely. Not when you're good company for yourself. And you know what? Being alone with myself was one thing, but being alone on my birthday was another. The day came, 88. I woke up early. I made myself a nice breakfast. I waited. Part of me, the old part, was waiting for the phone to ring, for the doorbell, for some sign that I still mattered to them, even after my nose. The morning passed. Quiet. I told myself it was fine. I'd chosen this peace. By noon, I started checking my phone. Nothing. I ate lunch. The silence in the house felt heavy, not peaceful. It felt like proof. I thought maybe they're planning a surprise for later. David always hated birthdays, but maybe. Chloe might remember. At 2 o'clock, my phone buzzed. My heart jumped. It was a text from David. It wasn't happy birthday. It was a photo of his new car parked on the sealed driveway. The message said, "Finally got it done. Looks great, doesn't it?" I stared at that picture. The shiny black car, the smooth, sealed gray concrete. I just stared. I didn't cry. I felt something go cold and still inside me. It was over. Then the doorbell rang. I hurried to the door, my old heart foolishly hoping. It was a delivery man with a bouquet. Flowers. I signed for them, my hands trembling. I brought them inside, the cellophane rustling. I pulled out the card. It was from Marjorie. It read, "Happy birthday, thinking of you. P.S. The retreat was transformative, found such clarity." The flowers were lilies, huge, trumpet-shaped, stinking lilies. I hate lilies, I always have. She's been to this house 100 times. She's never seen lilies here. That's when I broke. I didn't sit down gracefully. I slumped against the kitchen counter. I let the flowers fall into the sink. I cried. Hard, ugly, old woman sobs that hurt my chest. It wasn't about the flowers. It was about the not seeing, the not remembering, the not caring. All my yes had bought me was a driveway for a car and a portrait of a stranger and a bouquet of flowers I hated on the one day I wanted to be seen. The phone rang again. It was Chloe. I wiped my face, tried to sound normal. "Hi, Grandma, happy birthday," she said, her voice bright and rushed. "Listen, I'm so sorry, but we can't make it tonight. The kids have a thing, and we've got this other thing. But we'll swing by soon, I promise. Did you get my text?" I said I hadn't. "Oh, I sent a cute video of the kids singing. You must have missed it. Anyway, love you. Gotta run." I hung up. I never got a video. I checked. Nothing. She'd meant to send it. She probably did, in her mind, but she didn't. It was the thought that counted, and the thought never quite arrived. I sat at my kitchen table in the late afternoon light. The lilies stank up the room. I looked at my silent phone. I looked at my empty chairs. The cost of my no was finally clear. It wasn't that I'd lost them. I'd lost the idea of them. The story I told myself for decades about what we were to each other. That story was gone. All that was left was this quiet, empty house and the truth. And the truth, for the first time, felt solid under my feet. It hurt, but it was mine. It hurt, but it was mine. And that's the thing about truth. Even when it aches, it's solid ground. You can build on it. I sat there with the stink of those lilies, and I finally understood what I'd been wrong about all those years. I thought saying yes was love. I thought making myself useful was the same as being loved. But love doesn't keep a ledger. It doesn't see a person and think, what can they do for me? It sees a person and thinks, there you are. David saw a bank. Marjorie saw a subject. Chloe saw a convenience. And I let them because I was so afraid of being seen as nothing at all. I confused being needed with being valued. They are not the same thing. Being needed is transactional. Being valued is sacred. The mistake was in the performance. I performed the role of the ever available mother, the endlessly patient neighbor. I thought if I performed it well enough, I'd earn my place. But you can't perform your way into being known. All you get is applause for a character you're not, and then exhaustion when the curtain falls. Love isn't a performance. It's presence. It's Leo showing up with soup without being asked. It's him remembering I like the Finches and building a house for them. It's a quiet attention that asks, what do you need? Not what can you give? So here's what I learned, plain and simple. Your yes is precious. Give it only where it is respected and where it is returned in kind, not in grand dramatic gestures, but in the small, consistent currency of care. A remembered birthday, a visit without an agenda, the absence of lilies. And your no, it is not a weapon. It is a declaration of selfhood. It says, I exist here too. When I said no to David's dinner, I wasn't rejecting my son. I was finally showing up as his mother, a whole person, not a prop. He just didn't know how to handle it. If you're listening to this and you're my age or getting there, I'm talking to you. Don't wait for a crisis. Don't wait to get sick. Audit your life now. Look at your own ledger. Who is on the page of your giving, and what does their page look like? Is it filled with the scribbles of their busyness or the clear handwriting of their care? You have a right to that quiet. You have earned your own company. Start small. Say no to the thing you only do out of guilt. Say yes to the silly thing you've always wanted to do. The expensive bird feeder, the novel you think is too frivolous, the afternoon nap. Reclaim your time. It is the only currency you cannot earn more of. And there is hope. It's not a loud, cheering hope. It's a quiet one. It's the hope of a peaceful afternoon. It's the hope of a conversation that goes both ways. It's the hope that comes when the noise of other people's expectations fades and you can finally hear your own thoughts, your own laughter, your own preferences. They've been there all along, waiting. I found mine at 88. You might find yours tomorrow. You still have time. Maybe not decades, but now is enough. Now is everything. This peace I have, this quiet birthday with my store-bought cake, I want you to have this too. That's why I'm recording this. Not for pity, but for company. If this story sounded familiar, if you felt that ache in your chest, then you're not alone. We're in this together, you and I. So do something for me and for yourself. If this meant something to you, tap that like button. It's a small way to say, I hear you. It tells the platform that stories like this, stories for us, matter. Subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more truths told plain. Turn on notifications so you don't miss them. We could all use a little more truth. So that's it, my 88th birthday confession. The phone is quiet, the lilies are in the trash, and I am here, whole, and finally my own. I wish the same for you. Start today. Your peace is waiting. It really is.